Great day, great day, great day. Today is the 31st of January, 2026, and I am your host, Avok, a voice of consciousness. Once again, coming to you with Get Your It Together 2.1. Um, so today we have a heavy heart. I must admit, um, I have six grandchildren and four girls, two boys, and the eldest grandson was has tragically uh, has tragically been removed physically from this plane of existence, and so I was debating on whether I would or would not come on live, as I say every Saturday at 10 a.m. However, I don't do this for likes, shares, and the people to follow me per se. I do this to um, release whatever energies that may have accumulated within me that needs to be expressed or exposed. Um, and this is a means or medium that I use to channel through this channel, as we all channel. We all channel information, energies from other dimensions at different times, inspired by different things. And so um, the passing of my youthful grandson is is something that needs to be processed through, as that's um, a seed of my seed offspring. So through me, from me, through me came um, Spencer Contreras. And so, in essence, my speaking today through this tragedy would be to allow that which I am to freely move through and touch. And of course, again, be transformed by, which is a part of what um, it's a part of this life, it's a part of how it works, in that those that transition beyond this physical realm are not gone, they're just not available physically. However, the essence of the all that we are, which is energy, frequency, and vibration, they're forever tethered and connected to us. And so when we know that, we tend to find our way to varying levels of understanding, understanding, and overstanding how the connection remains, how the connection can never be broken, how the connection will always be sustained by love. Because all of how we come to be in this realm or any other realm, present or non present, we are non local beings. And it is incumbent upon us to incorporate all aspects of ourselves to fundamentally gain clarity with knowing ourselves. So while it is seemingly a challenge, it can and is liberating, because the ancestors or the African spirits of those who they celebrated when someone transitioned, because the energy is made available to all. Everyone can tap in. Any and everyone can utilize the source of that being, though physically not here, spiritually remains. And it will definitely be in the DNA, connected to the all that always is. So we must know these things regardless to um, the circumstances, because those circumstances are not really the key element. The key element is, how well do you know yourself, or how willing are you? How willing are you to dig through the rubble, go into the dark spaces, expose the dark corners, open the cracks to let in a little more light? How willing are you to go into those places and deal with those things that you may be afraid of, that you may find boring, that you may think have um, no place in you, and you seek to rid yourself? You cannot. All is you, and you are all. So the good, the bad, the indifferent, whatever you want to call it, it's all love. It's just different varying forms, different levels of it. You can label it unconditional love. You can't label that. It is just that, unconditional. Well, the fact that you even label it unconditional makes it, gives it a label that limits its essence. So let's just say that we have a responsibility, kind of like Mission Impossible. If you choose to accept it, you don't gotta do it. You don't gotta do anything. You're a sovereign divine soul. And as such, you don't gotta do nothing. You can just be nothing as you're being all things. It doesn't change. It depends on your level of discernment and the choices that you choose to make, because you're a sovereign soul. You get to choose your reality. You get to choose how you want to live. You get to choose what you like. You get to choose how you interact with yourself, because everything that you experience that's outside as an experience is designed to be an experience, is there for you to expand within yourself, expand within the knowing of yourself, to expand within the understanding and gaining clarity over who you are and what you are. What I am is divinity in motion. Who I am is divine. Who I am is divine. What I am is divinity in motion. You are defined by only that which is indefinable. So it's a paradox. There is no definition. There you can define it, and again, there is no definition for the indefinable. Divinity cannot be defined. You are not here to follow anyone's doctrines. You're not here to be controlled and manipulated by anything outside of self. Now, if you want to limit yourself and you want to hold yourself back and you want to restrain yourself from being the all that you already are by perspective only, because there's no holding back consciousness. Consciousness is pervasive. It's throughout everything, anywhere, all the time, in all things, everywhere, at the same time. People talk about the things of, well, we used to hunter-gatherers and we lived in caves, or we killed the animals to eat and all that. There were people that lived that didn't kill. And they were sustained and was living. There were people that did not kill, nor did they consume anything to eat. There are people right today that do not eat. It's called breatharianism, or aeritarianism. It's like a veganism, pescatarianism, you're eating flesh. There's people that don't eat at all. Don't even have to drink water. I know it's hard to understand or relate to, because if you're not doing it, you don't know it. To say something doesn't exist, yet you've not experienced it, and you've only experienced one thing, you can't speak on that which you know nothing of. If you don't have the experience to know, you can't speak on it. So we have to know that all of what we experience is for the best of the all that you already are, to bring you to terms with yourself, to have you be expanded in your knowledge of knowing yourself. Reading a book is not going to get you to where you need to be if you're trying to come to terms with that which you already are, your divine self, the spiritual nature of your soul, and what it is and why it is and where it is in this dispensation of time. You won't know it. You won't get it. You won't understand it unless you are sparked to remember yourself, unless you are sparked to know yourself, unless you are sparked to deal with the expansive aspect. How do you expand? Through the processes of alchemy. Think about it. Everything is alchemy. Everything you do is alchemy. You can take words and form sentences. That's alchemy. You can take letters to form words. That's alchemy. You take your thoughts, and your thoughts go out before you and generate energy. That energy brings you an experience of some type based on where you're where you're channeling from or through. You have chakras. The chakras are portals. They're digging up grounds and they're capturing lands and going and taking over countries and different things because of the ley lines and the portals, not just the minerals and the oil and this. There are other aspects that they deem that once they attain it, acquire it, they can control the masses of people. And I'm here to tell you that you have all you need within you. The portals are already in you. That's why it's what, 95%. They say 95% of your DNA is junk. That's because it's not turned on until it's time. There's a time and a season for everything. And the time and the season for certain activation codes to kick in through the light frequencies. That's why they try to block the light from coming in from the sun. Different light frequencies and codes will be automatic. You can't control it. It has nothing to do with manipulative, manipulative and power hungry individuals that seek to control. You can't control it. It's not something that you can generate any type of anything that's gonna curtail, contain, repress forever. Because remember, you're infinitely eternal. Energy, frequency, and vibration is infinitely eternal. It's never, ever, 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 ever going to stop. That's why different things happen as a result of us and what we have to do and deal with when we stop moving, when we stop being active, when we stop, we don't lose it. We just limit ourselves access to it when we don't utilize it, our powers. We haven't lost it. We still have it. However, we must align ourselves with that which is to concern. Well, we have to align ourselves with that which is of balance. So but what it means is you have to also deal with the stuff that you don't like about yourself. Come to terms with it. If you're finding fault in yourself, or if you're finding fault in others, generally you're finding fault in yourself. And if you're finding fault in yourself, that means that's a level of unhappiness. And if there's levels of unhappiness within you, then you have to go in and resolve that. Why? Why is that there? Why this make me feel this way? How come, your emotions should not be in control? If your emotions are running the show, then that means your ego is top dog. And if your ego is top dog, then that's not your seat of power. So we must know we cannot, well, I won't say what we cannot do, because we can do whatever. Depending on the timing for whoever, whenever. I know for me, the time is now. For me, I can only speak for me, so the time is now. That's why I do this regardless, rain or shine. I wasn't going to, but again, this is a part of the process. This is a part of how it works. Things are going to happen, and you're not going to always be liking it or wanting it to happen. However, it's not about liking or wanting something. It's more about allowing yourself to flow within the presence in the moment of it. Be in the moment with it. Not try to go against it or fight it, because you fighting yourself. People talk about we at war and it's a spiritual war and it's no, it's not. All of that stuff that you're given is indoctrinations. All of these things that you've been given are things to indoctrinate you to, or keep you programmed, or keep you in sync or in step with the programming, with the conditioning, with all that is oppressive, all those things to keep you suppressing your energies, suppressing your expansion. You don't grow. You expand. Energy, frequency, and vibration does not grow. It expands and flows. There's no evolution. Evolution can be with things that are material, things that are created, but you, divine soul, you, the divine being that you are, you expand within and without. So it's about expansion. It's not an evolutionary process. It's an expansive process. You think about that character, anything that characterizes energy, frequency, and vibration, anything that is characteristic of that, the main thing is water. There's different forms of water. It's all water. Condensed water, ice, steam, the air you breathe. There's different levels of water. It's still water. And what that does, it expands. You expand your lungs with air to blow it out or release it. If the pipes freeze, they can burst. Why? Because of the ice buildup. It expands. Still water, frozen though, but it's water. It's a form that's alchemy. That's alchemy. Anytime the substance of the main constituent transforms or metamorphs into something else, that's alchemy. You take a again, I'm using the same example, but that's the example. Diamonds are formed out of coal. It's an energy source. Everything is some source of energy at some level, depending on what is needed, when it's needed, how it's utilized. It will transform, or you may be transformed. When you eat, everything you eat, you consume. It performs or transforms in your system as muscle, as the various constituents that it takes to give you energy. Again, to go to your skin and your hair and it's all alchemy. You are the embodiment of the all that is being all there is. You're an individualized individuation of that essence of source. Source is a circle, like I said before, dot in the middle. That's the symbol. That's the symbol of the all. The circle with the dot in the middle. Now, from that dot leads out to every part of that circle outside of the dot. There's a line that goes out to that circle. That's a perspective. That's an angle. Each and every one of us have an angle of light that we are contributaries to the one source of all, thereby allowing us to be expressions of that one source of all as source within the self. This is how it works. And as we move about in this life, as we do whatever it is we're doing, everything that we're experiencing is a direct result of what is in our hearts. What is our will and intention? How are we relating to and dealing with that which is within us? And if you got a lot of darkness in you, and you have a lot of hatred in you, and you have a lot of anger in you, it's going to express itself, and it's going to bring to you, you magnetize yourself to those things that's in your heart, to those things that you have intentional focus on. You bring it to you, or you repel it. It's a matter of choice, and we have the ability to choose how we want to live, what we want to live, what we want to do, how we want to do it. And if it's not in love, then guess what? You're going to bring that back to, well, it's going to be in love. It's just different forms of love. Hate is love as well. Envy is love. You know, people who want to hate on you or whatever, there's a certain amount of love in that. It's just maybe the extreme aspect of it on the other side of it, because remember, there's always yin and yang. Yin and yang is the essence of everything, and yin and yang is in everything. There's no this without that. There's no in without out. There's no up without down. Now, what's the balancing component in those seemingly dual essence? Because they're not dual. That what they are is just expressions being given or something being defined. You're defining this, limiting it, but there's no limitation in the one source of all. It's being all, and you're an expression of that. You're the embodiment of the expression of that, as it being you, just as you are, right, wrong, up, down, in, out. You look good, you don't look good, you feel good, you don't feel. It don't matter. All is as it should be in the divine realm of reality, because it's not real. It's only real based on your emotional connection to the idea. This is not easy. I'm not even attempting to try to make it seem like it. However, it is. Because all you have to do is allow yourself. But it's hard when you are afraid. If you are afraid to be yourself, if you are afraid to say what you feel, if you are afraid, right, wrong, or indifferent, who cares if, I don't care if you like what I'm saying or don't like what I'm saying, or we have to be mature about who and what we are. And if we're getting it from a child's view, if we're looking at things from a child's perspective, if we're only allowing ourselves to encapsulate and endear ourselves to what a child thinks, feels, who's not developed, who hasn't really has any real experience in the reality of truth in life, and we're allowing that to govern how we move and what we say and what we do, that's a choice. You can make that choice if you like, but it's immaturity, because the level of maturity that it takes to be responsible, the level of maturity that it takes to be accountable, the level of maturity that it takes to be truthful, to be authentic. Children don't know how to do that. They either have to be taught or they have to have enough experience to know. Because if you're not showing them, you don't teach a soul. I take that back. You can't teach a soul. But if you're not showing or guiding them in the manner to help to expand them within that aspect of themselves, then they won't demonstrate or experience those, or have those types of experiences, I should say. Because the experiences that you have will allow you to continue, the experiences that you have will allow you to expand even more into that, if it's a desire, if it's something that you choose, if it's something that you have a yearning for. And at the base of it is love. At the base of it is love. So this is a very special time today, because I never, ever, you can't really imagine things that happen. You're never prepared, I should say, for those things that you've been taught to fear until they actually happen. And then now, how do you deal with it? So rather than be hurt and retreat further into the darkness of myself, I use alchemy to transcend and transform these energies that I'm feeling, to allow myself to flow. Because there is always an opportunity in every moment that we think there might be something bad. There's always an opportunity for something good. And again, I'm only using the terms that we're comfortable with because there's no such thing in essence. There's always, always, always divine promise. And that's the only thing that sustains you, me, we as one with the source of the all, is that sacred promise. There's no other thing that maintains you. There's no anthropomorphic value of any uh, of any deity. There's nothing over you. Nothing over you. Nothing over us. You, me, we as source. You, me, we as one with source is the all. Anything else is defined is less, because what happens when you define something, once again, it becomes less than. Your infinite eternal self is indefinable. The fact that you're trying to define something to give to yourself to justify some level of authority is deceitful. It's never going to be the truth. However, if you choose to allow yourself to acquiesce to believing in something that don't exist, or allow yourself to limit your power by limiting yourself, then so be it. That's a choice. It's not a good or bad. It's just what you choose. I choose not. So hence, that's why we do what we do. That's why we've done what we've done. You know, I've done programs in the early 2000s where we did poetry shows, and some of the poets have gone on to do other things with named stars or what have you. I've worked in engineering. As it's just so many things that's been done. Have I stopped? What is going on? Uh-oh, looks like it froze. So I froze up a little bit. All right, so let me just go ahead and make this a short one. We're gonna cut it. All right, once again, every Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, my heart is heavy. It goes out to my grandson, Spencer Contreras.